I see.
Yes,
George
it is.
Orwell.
Is that what the
1984
what means? I see. Huh?
happening.
Yeah.
I see.
I see.
Yeah, if you put a
Yeah,
I
separate
figure
Yeah,
there,
what?
that's the kind of society they are, where the
So
society
J.E.
takes precedent over the
space.
individual.
That's why it's
Wow.
capitalized the way it's
You can never
capitalized.
right.
Civil rights rights.
Yeah, it's
get away
really
with
two
it
different
here
words.
It's two different
as
words.
overtly.
Now
makes
we know
sense.
everything about it.
Overtly, they got all kinds
Well,
of
we know
stuff
why
we're
they did it.
aware of while
Yeah.
watching us. But I choose to be ignorant and say I'm going to be dead someday, so it really doesn't matter.
Are we ready to try this?
Sure.
It's like 5:30 or something.
Go for it.
So, you guys weren't around. Last week, we were doing these, you can pronounce it better, these,
Jebois.
no, the markers.
Aruco.
Aruco marker.
What means Aruco?
What means it?
Augmented reality.
Augmented reality. They're
University?
university.
Oh,
With the Java
Right, very good.
camera, and I was actually trying to follow their tutorial on making a follow robot, and I used a different robot platform and a different motor driver and the whole 9 yards than what they were telling me to do, and it failed miserably. So I scrapped it and started over. So basically, the main change is, though, I'm still not using the motor driver that they were using because I just didn't have one. I'm using a L298 motor driver, but I'm using 3 pins per motor. So there's the enable pin, the N1 and N2 on both motors, which is basically what they were doing with the other motor driver. That seemed to work. I had to modify, I think probably because the tilt part still wasn't quite right, so I had to modify their code a little bit to get it to actually tilt correctly. But otherwise, it is pretty much the code from their website. So
Good. Does this tilt now?
it does tilt now. And
Super.
before we plug the motor in, because this one, Marcus is here.
Whale this week. What did you say? I said I'm whale this week.
Flip it one time over and it should plug in one time, not two.
I was 2 weeks
Flipped
ago,
it.
I had to leave.
Flip it twice, so it's
Flipped
wrong
it.
again. Flip it twice.
That was terrible. It took 3 weeks for me to totally get up.
Oh,
2
I
weeks
can
to
see
get over
it.
the cough and 3 weeks to get over
That's
the
good.
virus.
Pan tilt, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, it's like the end.
I'm lucky I've got about 10 days.
Just keep an eye on that thing, buddy.
It really is.
So it actually is working
It's
now.
tracing really well. You're gonna give it whiplash, man.
The idea behind what it's doing, the code, the robot is trying to keep the marker at a certain distance, a certain pixel level. So that's why it will back up. It's also trying to keep, it'll pan and tilt because according to them, this is faster than what the robot could actually turn to get to it. So it's trying to bring it all back to a 0 state. And that's what it's supposed to be doing. So if everybody will watch, so that this, because this is an acrylic robot, so if it goes rolling off the table, it is going to be
Is
a
this
bad
a
thing.
rabbit robot?
Yes, it's one of Ray's early prototypes.
Yeah.
So it's made out of the breakable stuff. So if everybody will watch and make sure it doesn't do it, we'll see if we can actually get it to follow.
It's looking at me. Is it looking at me? Are you looking at me? No. Are you looking at Whoa.
Good catch.
That would have come off the edge.
They got the slick table thing going now.
Well, yeah, right.
I'm trying not to let it fall, but it's doing it.
Like you said, the slick table, it's taking a little time to stop
I
on this.
recognized when I didn't see it.
Wow, that's cool.
That is pretty neat.
But it's doing it. It's actually working the way
Like
it's.
this to make sure that-
I'll push it into it. Yeah, there you go.
It's very, it knows, man.
Now,
It's
will it also
processed.
turn it upside down, or is it?
It doesn't matter.
No.
The orientation doesn't.
Mhm.
That's one of the.
Can you take a picture of that on the phone and then?
Vicente's making a movie, aren't you?
Huh?
You're making a movie.
Yeah.
Will it work on this one?
Come on. Come on.
Cool. They will do
Oh.
Good catch.
They will do a close turn, tight turn.
So. There we go.
Yay!
Great.
From complete and utter failure last week to.
That was good. With the tilt and everything working this week, that was great.
You
I
need
went-
to, you
I
need
went
to
with the
add
four-
more sensors.
Do what?
Sensors for
Yeah, well.
tail,
I went with the 4-wheel drive too because I thought it would help smooth it out a little bit.
It did a nice tight turn. I was surprised that that quad wheel job would do a tight turn like that. Is it 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive?
It's actually 2-wheel drive,
Oh, okay.
so it's really a ski, like a tank.
Okay. Tail dragger in disguise.
Yeah. But I thought the 4 wheels would actually work better on this surface than the 2 wheels have been. Looks like it was working better.
Great.
So that's it. That's all I got.
Show us,
Very
show us
good.
the
Mark to it.
quick links up there. Scroll down a little bit and expand that if you would. I had some interesting stuff come up. Found some interesting stuff. We've been getting those 18650 battery. Leroy's got adhered to the 18650 batteries now. They're the lithium ion 3.7 volt batteries.
Roll it up a little bit there, Jimmy.
Maybe.
Control Plus, maybe. Control Plus.
Yeah, or you can go down. Yeah.
Control Minus.
It's gotta be like that.
You did something.
We did
It's
something,
ignored.
but now it's not doing it.
Oh,
that's
there we
just
go.
Yeah,
Just-
that'll work, I guess. It just blew up the browser.
Oh, it's up.
Oh, that's pretty good there.
That's really blown up.
One letter at a time. We can do it.
I can take my glasses
Anyhow,
off.
the 18650.
Oh boy, doing it. I
The
like that.
18650 batteries are.
You don't need these stinking
I don't need
glasses.
glasses anymore. I go outside and kill myself.
The 18650 batteries came out, and I found some, and Leroy's got some, and they're kind of making it around now. Well, we found out where they came from, and where they were introduced, and why we had the 18650. And the reason it was the 18650, it's 18 millimeters wide and 65 millimeters long, and it was built for the Tesla. They optimized the battery size for the Tesla, and so now they're actually redoing them, and the 18650 is the old standard. The new standard is going to be 2170, 21 millimeters wide, 70 long, and that's what they're using in the Model 3. Wow! So that's where that came from. We just said, hey, they got these new batteries, and we didn't know where they came
You know where
from.
they came
Don't you
from.
feel enlightened?
It's like, man,
I feel so
the jigsaw
Where you
puzzle
get
fits
those
together.
batteries?
man.
That's right.
Those
It all makes sense.
Chinese company, but they were stocked here in the States. So
Is the 2170
found them.
just
I found
raw
those on
from
eBay. I
Old
think I
Base
paid.
What happens
lithium
is-
polymer or
The,
something.
the,
Yeah.
You use the
the
standard
big
charger
deal
of
with this
the
is the weight density.
Adafruit
Okay.
board.
I,
And
I bought
what you
them with
end
a
up
charger.
would
They
you
came
rather
with
have
a
a bunch
charger.
of
I
small
bought 8 of
batteries
them
or a few big batteries.
with a
For
charger,
most
and I
efficient
think I only
efficiency
paid like.
and power
15
density,
bucks
it's
for
the
'em.
small batteries.
So I cheaped out on them.
So the smaller the batteries, the higher the power density.
Supposedly.
No,
Supposedly.
really. No, really.
They have the same power, the same
They're trying to buy
milliamp
optical.
hour.
The same as
I think that the density depends on technology, not on the size of the.
well, using the same technology like zinc carbon.
Maybe they have a.
Zinc carbon, the
Ideal
pen lights,
size, yeah.
the pen lights per unit size are the most efficient battery, and then the double A's
You
are.
can see
least.
those batteries everywhere. You can connect them using solder. How do you know it?
Fusible link.
Yeah, solder.
Spot weld. Spot weld.
Spot weld. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, they've been.
I bought the strips from China
Yeah,
of nickel or something.
nickel cadmiums probably.
Yeah, the strips, just strips to connect them.
Yeah.
And to make an array as you wish. And the Tesla used a huge bed of those.
Mhm.
But they didn't invent the battery.
No.
But they actually sell this battery in detail market with the name Tesla.
Oh,
I
okay.
saw them.
They're actually made in California by Panasonic employees
Okay.
working for Tesla.
Okay.
So that's what's going on in the Tesla world. Outside of that, I don't know. Now,
That pretty much defines the whole Tesla world.
so there, in fact, they have
Defines everything.
Yes, right.
I saw
the truth
a
about
bike,
Tesla Model 3 up there is how their batteries, why they build them, how they build them. They have about 4,000 batteries per car, and they have 3 battery packs. They monitor every voltage and current drawn in every battery. They have a heat exchanger.
Individually?
Individually.
Oh, wow.
Within 100th of a volt.
So those 3 packs store those 4,000 batteries.
Yes. They're
Through-
divided up into 3 different packs.
I saw a bike.
And they monitor every
One.
single battery.
Yeah.
Like a lot of,
The front wheel is
Talking
all
about
the
getting granular.
traction, all the propulsion.
that's a lot of
You
fire,
can
fine
buy the
wire.
front
Yeah.
wheel and put in your bike.
It's a lot of data
And
collection.
inside the
Yeah.
wheel there is those batteries all
And
around.
it's an
And in the
ongoing
center is the
dynamic
motor.
process.
And
that's
Bluetooth,
the thing.
communications, and
Yeah, per
charging,
day, the
everything
amount of
you
data
do.
is from one
And
car
you put
per day.
another
A lot of data.
device in your bike, and you
Mhm.
have full control of the front wheel.
Depending on the activity.
Without
Now,
changing,
Mike,
just
Mike
like-
brought
Yeah,
in
of course,
a
yeah.
wheel, a bike
Yeah,
wheel. Did you
yeah.
see that?
How many Tesla
Yeah,
cars are out
I
there?
saw in the video of the meeting because I didn't be.
I mean, I know they're
I
behind
didn't came to
schedule.
this,
Right,
to
right,
this
right,
meeting,
yeah.
but I saw it. It's
And for some reason,
small
the
one, right?
investors, he
16
knows how to,
inches.
Yeah.
the investors
I saw it.
revolt.
Okay, yeah.
Because
So that's
it's
But
becoming.
this
like
one
a
used
cult
the
following, you know,
Yeah.
it's
everything,
just like,
you know,
you know,
the wheel,
He
the
has a
batteries, the
magnetism
charger,
about
the driver, the
Pied
motor,
Piper effect,
everything
because
inside the wheel.
anyone
okay.
else,
You just
they
put the
have
wheel
thrown
in
in
your
on
bike.
the
Well,
wood
you
pile.
gotta, you
Use
respect
small,
that, I mean, from a
control
technology
your
standpoint, you respect a
handle.
person that's
Mm.
willing to
That's-
innovate like that.
There's
And
not many
they're
people
starting to
alive on
promote
the earth at
electric
one
bikes
time with that
bikes in the
character.
cities now.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's becoming
Common thing, yeah.
Custom-
And he'll
consumer item.
roll the dice.
Yeah,
He'll keep
Red
rolling the
Bike
dice.
is supposed to have it in
Well, I think
Cincinnati.
Edison was the same.
Red
way.
Bike is
They all
Do
are.
what?
They-
Red
They
Bike
ended up
in
going to
Cincinnati
Dick
downtown.
Ford and ended up controlling
Okay.
They say they're
everybody.
going to have
US Steel,
e-bikes.
the
I
electric
think they
companies.
were supposed to be out about 2 weeks ago. I haven't gone down
'Cause
to
you have
their
to counter that with
bike
business
racks
sense.
to find out.
There's a article. There's a
They
link.
already
in-
have the
That's what
scooter.
happens, is that they
The
go-
scooter.
Yeah, from them, there are two scooter
Yeah,
brands
Bird,
in downtown.
yeah,
Yeah,
Bird
they're
and Lime.
cutting it once a
But-
No
month.
one is this new guy.
The entrepreneur
No,
leaves
the
and
Red Bike
business
has
guy.
the concession
Go do
downtown.
something else.
They have bike racks,
Or it'll
so they,
crash and burn.
all their bikes
If
are
you
red
wanna
color.
buy it at a
And
discount,
they,
you know,
in the
you'll-
newspaper a month or so ago, they said they would come out with the
And
e-bike.
by that time,
So
the
e-bikes will
technology's
be
not
there.
as risky.
But I haven't walked
Because
down to see
you've
myself.
gone into that paradigm.
Right.
So there's a link in there also to 10 current transportation type, 10 most unusual vehicles. One of them is the elevated vehicle by Volkswagen vehicle of the future. It's like the elevated railway, similar
Like
to
a
that.
hovercraft?
Yeah, and they show it.
Mag lift?
Yeah, maglift.
Oh, man.
They have some videos in there which are obviously fake, but they showed the concept, and they also have showing the quadcopter and sixcopter cars of the future, and they're showing one with a guy on it flying around, and so that's coming, and a lot of people working on that.
Well, there's one in town. I guess you knew that, right?
No, not at all.
Okay, so this is
Over in Blue Ash, isn't it?
more like Loveland, but it's
Okay.
a workhorse. So they're wanting to sell their. They used to call it a flying car, but they call it. Their name is Workhorse, and you can look it up. They're publicly traded stock, and then they mostly do electric trucks for UPS. I mean, I've driven by their place, and they're UPS electric. You know, they're the big. They have a factory over across the state line in Indiana, up a ways. You know, it's not
Near
here.
Richmond,
Yeah, it's north of Richmond.
Wayne County, the north of
Not
Wayne
sure,
County.
not sure the county, but yeah, it's just north of Richmond, right? That's where it's right on the Indiana line,
Yeah.
but it's in Indiana.
Union City, maybe,
Maybe that's it. Yeah,
because that's just north of there.
that does ring a bell. I think that's where it is. But they their other product is this. They were calling it the Horse Fly because their name is Workhorse, but I think they changed it to make it a different name. But you can look it up on the web. They've I think their CEO of their company, his name is Steve Burns. So he said he was stuck in traffic and decided to invent this. So it's an octocopter. It's got 4, motors, and it's got a blade above and below each.
Yeah, that's what these were.
Yeah,
seems to
so
be
it's
the
not.
trend.
Yeah, okay. And there's one that Uber has been working on in Dubai
Yes.
for a couple years, and that may be shuttling people, but
Hey, from what I saw, it didn't look like anybody was shuttling anybody yet. There's
Okay.
talk of it in Japan, I think.
I saw the one in Dubai. They actually had people on it. Somebody,
Really?
at least one person. I can't remember if it was multiple people.
Yeah, they got a little guy.
Yeah,
Well, I'm talking
like a
about-
jockey.
I'm talking about using it commercially.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
I don't think anybody's using it
Oh no,
commercially as a
definitely
consumer
not. Yeah,
product.
no.
I
Are
thought
they
the one
still
in
working on
Dubai,
that
they were
tunnel
using that
between
for
Las Vegas
firefighting.
or LA and
I think you're
Florida?
right. I think I did see
Yeah, I
that. I
think
think
so.
that was.
Yeah.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah, I thought the
It's
one
gonna
in
use
Dubai,
air
it was,
pressure or
it
something,
was
Yeah.
vacuum, go
Uh,
700 miles
you
an
know
hour,
the Sikorsky
something like that.
helicopter manufacturer?
yeah.
Mark,
They are releasing an helicopter that
Yeah.
you only need
Right.
45 minutes to learn to fly it, because it's all controlled by the computer,
Yeah,
and you use a tablet to fly the helicopter.
yeah. That's just what we need is people that aren't really qualified to fly
Yeah,
stuff around,
there's one.
flying stuff around.
there it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they
They're local.
they're in Loveland or
Wow.
Because there's bonehead drivers, but when you're in the air, you can't have
Yeah, that's bonehead
bonehead
in
because
3D.
you're going to have
you know.
fatalities.
Yeah, you have to watch not only left, right, but what's above you. And
That wasn't that hard to find either.
I
You can't
saw-
text and drive. You can't text and
Why?
eat a burger and you drink a milkshake. And
I saw a quadcopter that flew 6.4 miles from a handheld transmitter and taking 4K video.
there it is.
That's $1,000.
You can sell
$200K.
I got $1,000.
Yeah.
down.
It's only
Oh, that's down.
Yeah.
200. Oh,
200K,
200K.
babe.
I don't have that. I can do
Yeah, you gotta put the
that.
down payment down. I didn't know you wanted me to pay them extra.
Extra? What's that?
They have to have
Paying
these
off
on
1,000, you'd be
for the
paying extra
FAA till they get it approved.
This was
Yeah.
FAA
This is-
sanctioned.
I-
We have experimental I
didn't realize that they were local. I actually knew about this company. I just didn't know they were
There is a
local.
video.
I heard about him a long time ago, and then I never heard about him until he just brought
This
it
is a
up.
piloted vehicle, untethered. This is free flight. You'll notice these outriggers, we call them training wheels. They're just precautionary. Well, this is a hybrid machine, and today in Cincinnati we lifted off for the first time, and just a huge milestone for our company today. And the comfort of the pilot inside, flying with one hand, you know, it's everything we'd hoped.
It's a very nice aircraft. It's very well designed. It's cutting edge, state of the art. It's going to be very safe. It's going to be very reliable.
You can see it has 8 props, each directly attached to an electric motor. If one of those should fail, you can still land.
Oh, okay, they have two
It has
individual
a generator
motors, so there are 8
making
motors.
the electricity for those motors. But if that generator should ever fail,
Thing
you have
goes
5
one of
minutes of
those
lithium battery to get down. If even all that should fail, we're going to have a ballistic parachute.
They've got the parachute though.
They got a parachute.
Yeah,
We've
Is this in
discovered
YouTube?
there's a lot
That's
of
actually,
short top applications.
one of the
If you feel your
aviation.
Oh, it's a
gravity
parachute
is
actually
on the plane, on the
That's,
helicopter.
yeah. there you
Yeah.
go. That's nice.
Yeah, YouTube.
I've seen a few tests
But I-
of those, and those
That's
they work
nice.
pretty
That-
good.
that-
Oh, I
that's-
just typed
that-
this in,
that- if you
I
have
just
that,
type
you
in
can possibly go
workhorse
in the sort of
octocopter,
residential
and it
sort of
comes up.
commercial type.
Leroy,
area.
looks for this in YouTube to see the video about this.
Oh, I saw that. You
Work-
know it
work-
doesn't play the videos real well.
No?
That's the
Workhorse,
only reason why It's the only reason why I.
Because the speed or is
That's it. The middle one is the one I played. That one there. Yeah.
Oh my God,
The guy with the black hat is their CEO,
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, the humanity.
Steve Burns.
We don't play videos very well.
Excited. You get a perfect takeoff.
Oh,
Yeah,
look,
that's it.
it's training wheels.
It's exhilarating. I think for perspective, you need to know that this was FAA sanctioned. We have experimental airworthiness from the FAA. And to our knowledge, it's the first time it's happened.
That was the, Elon
This
Musk
is a
put it right
piloted
on-
vehicle. Untethered,
rocket.
this is free flight. You'll notice these outriggers, we call them training wheels. They're just precautionary. This is a hybrid machine. And today in Cincinnati, we lifted off for the first time, and just a huge milestone for our
Where's
company
that down in
today.
Lincoln?
And the comfort
Could
of the
be.
pilot inside,
Yeah.
flying with one hand, you know, it really is, it's everything we had hoped.
It's a very nice aircraft. It's very well designed. It's cutting edge, state of the art. It's going to be very safe. It's going to be very reliable.
You can see it has 8 props, each directly attached to an electric motor. If one of those should fail, you can still land. It has a generator making the electricity for those motors, but if that generator should ever fail, you have 5 minutes of lithium battery to get down. If even all that should fail, we're going to have a ballistic parachute in there as well, and bring the whole craft down. We've
That doesn't
discovered
help you at
there's
30
a lot
feet,
of
by the
short
way.
top applications.
Yeah,
If you
you'll
feel your
survive
craft
that.
is safe
Yeah,
and
With the
can
lithium
fly.
batteries.
What's neat to me about flying the Surefly is that I get to stand in front of this team. Because the people who built this thing and the people who designed this thing are some of the sharpest minds I have ever had the privilege of working with. I mean, they are really sharp people.
And then there's the mechanical engineering, the electrical engineering, and the aerospace engineering. So it takes all those disciplines to make it happen.
The mechanics of flying this are completely different than any traditional helicopter or airplane. The pilot in this aircraft is going to tell a computer through a fly-by-wire system, take me over there, and the computer is going to figure out how to do that in a way that is safe and reliable and comfortable. It takes the way self-driving cars are making the highways safer, it takes that to aviation.
For a craft like this, hovering is not much different than flying. So next step afterward, we'll hover maybe 5 feet, then 10 feet, and then eventually we can start to fly.
We're going to bring aviation to people who've never thought about aviation before.
We are about to make history.
Oh.
They will
That
bring
was
aviation to the ground.
on May 3rd of this year.
Oh, they already flying that out.
So
Yeah, I know a guy who went to work for them. He worked for them in the past. Can't remember their name then, but
There's
then
another one in the corner. Or,
that looks like an older.
Looks like a helicopter.
Yeah, that's old.
Homemade helicopter.
Right, yeah.
Homemade
That failed.
helicopters that failed.
Excellent.
Oh.
Yeah, this
Yes.
quadcopter I saw that
Helicopter
flew
that plane.
6.4 miles. It was 4K video the entire
Stay away
distance,
from helicopters.
and going 30 miles an hour. It was quite impressive. They started out about $7,000, but they've come down to like 2,500. It has GPS built in, so you go flip to the map and this GPS map, and you can draw the map and put waypoints in.
Okay.
It has a GPS just like your GPS system in your car, and you put the points where you want to go, and away you go. They got some stuff out there.
Yeah.
So if they've got pictures of a white one and the video had a black
Yeah,
one,
it's a different.
that means they've got at least two.
Well, the white one probably never flew though. that's the thing. I mean,
That's the demo
that's
for the
right. Yeah,
brand.
that's right. They just
The props are spinning.
Yeah. They don't have.
It's chained to the ground.
That's right. That's what I was gonna say.
For
That's
safety.
exactly right.
They got a strain gauge on there. It's just testing how much
Yeah.
torque it has.
Yeah.
It's got an NC number on it, or an N number on it. It must have flown somewhere.
It has potential to fly.
Also, there's some videos
This is a
on
pilot
battery
vehicle.
factories in China. If you want to tour a battery
Section.
factory in China,
Mm.
they got 2 of those, and the theory behind the Tesla batteries, and they got 2 tapes on the Tesla battery development, and the foibles and the good points and the bad points of the Tesla battery system and how they got there and all that stuff.
Cool.
Back here, right here.
In there as well.
Yeah, he's got an N number. Let's see
We've
if
discovered there's a
N18 something. Yeah, I can't tell. Sometimes they repaint them. So
There it is, N834LW.
N8 34LW.
That may be the model number or something, though.
Yeah.
It's hard to see it here in the video. N834LW. It's the same one. They've repainted it.
This is the carbon without paint.
Right.
Looks like,
And
right?
then they painted it white.
And then they painted it white because your N number follows the
Carbon fiber.
Yeah,
The
so
plane.
that's just unique.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you can tell. Like Careflight, when they repaint their helicopters, you look at the N number on it and you go, "Oh, that's the same helicopter that it has been forever."
They're close to Montgomery Road.
Okay.
I think
Me and
there's-
my dad will have to cruise down. Oh, by the way, he said thank you for that book. He doesn't.
Oh, good.
He did not have that book, so
Cool.
he will read that.
Another aviation breakthrough, like the Wright brothers
Right?
coming out of Ohio. So they envisioning Joe Average flying these, getting
Yeah, that's the idea.
third
Yeah.
degree, flying during the day, or
I think that
If
the best
they're
one,
actually-
the best one is a German or British
that
small
still
company
scares me.
that use
Well,
like
the price has got to come
all
down.
the
the price got to come down
has
significantly.
Yeah, 200K. That's
more than a
that's
dozen of
not
turbines,
a lot
electric
of
turbines,
gain right there.
and they move the
But it's
wings.
not
Oh yeah.
Did you say?
range for some, you know.
Yeah.
No, for like
You don't have to be
has
something
a
like that.
good,
yeah,
a good
exactly,
landing
right.
and
And
people
Small
that
business.
Right, small
Yeah.
business that want to get
It'd
their
be
first
good for
cost.
us.
can fly
That's
fast.
a good point. That's a
You
good
know,
point.
like that.
Yeah.
move the
That's
wind
actually a good point.
in the direction of
Cheaper.
flying.
I don't know how much a helicopter
fast.
is, but they're,
What's the helicopter cost?
Probably $500,000.
Yeah.
so
I think they're trying to sell this division. They put out a press release that they've hired somebody to try to sell this part of their company so they can focus on electric trucks.
So this
If-
would
If this is comparable to something like Tesla or something, where the car was expensive,
Right.
but it's started to
Yeah,
come
oh, yeah,
down in
for sure.
price.
Yeah.
Probably the same thing would happen here, right? I mean, only the people that can really afford it or
Right.
really want to
But
play.
you know what? I mean, once this becomes a point where the technology develops, somebody will buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, one of these Bezos or somebody like that will, come and
But-
buy.
But after a certain period, if they sell enough, they're going to figure out how to make it cheaper.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
We're just not going to be the first round of that.
Right, right.
Eventually, it'll probably do away with the personal vehicle because they can deliver a vehicle to you where you want to leave at this time and make very efficient use of the vehicles that are there.
Yeah.
Or let's say you gotta fly to Columbus or somewhere within, you know.
Did
it's
they
not like
talk
flying
about the range
across
of this?
country, but you can get to Columbus.
I didn't hear
Or-
anything on
I
that.
didn't hear anything.
Yeah, I think they have a
Yeah,
ways
that's
to
what
go,
happens
but
if you go to that.
like I say, I think they're
Because you don't
trying
have
to
to
sell
deal with
this
traffic.
just
You go
because
in
to
and you go
develop
straight
it.
shot.
The electric
Yeah,
trucks.
no lights or stops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're, I think they're spread a little too thin to, you know, keep on
You may
this.
be able to fly lower than
This
a plane.
this has a lot of potential though.
But
Yeah.
You got a bunch of
Yeah.
money. I got $1,000. Let's go give it to them.
I don't have that much, but I saw that much one time.
I saw that much once.
Until you start getting a few of them.
You
then
have them in there, then it's gonna be, you have to have air
that has
traffic
a lot of
controllers and
potential.
everything.
Yeah, that's the problem. with
Yeah,
it.
they'll have to build in like a avoidance.
Yeah, if you drive by
Yeah.
their building, it's just a
Yeah,
vanilla
it's actually
building.
like
It's got a
you have to have
few
avoidance
UPS
in
trucks
the
outside it,
college,
you know,
so
that say
They'll actually
electric.
take over if you're too
I
close.
mean, not that I'm a spy or anything, but
What's in there?
Remember
What's in there?
Jackson?
I have
They
been
had-
known
they
to
had
drive
traffic
by
cops
it
in
and
the
see
sky.
see what's going
Yeah,
on.
they
They
had
can
to stop and they're
stop,
like,
they can
"No."
stop in midair
Yeah.
to get their ticket.
So, does anybody really have any questions about this thing?
Yeah, I do.
I know you do,
I wasn't
because-
here- I wasn't here last week, unfortunately.
I like it.
I had a
I
call
like
last
it.
week.
Yeah, when it really works, it actually works well.
No, but it's very, very nice.
So is that a kit? Is that now you said somebody's name before? You said who? Did you build that? Did you build it?
Or the robot.
I think that's a rabbit.
It's
oh,
Ray.
okay.
You know Ray.
There's a Uno over in there.
No, it's a Leonardo.
Leonardo.
You said Ray.
Ray. Rabbit robots.
Oh,
Rabbit laser.
okay, thank you. Well, there you go. I was like, okay, who's Ray?
Ray.
Ray.
Well, on the top of this is a camera, the Jivois. How did I do? Did I do all right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty close.
I gotta work.
Better
on my
than what
French.
we've been butchering
I
it
have
for
enough-
the past.
Yeah.
I have enough trouble with
Brand.
English. I have trouble with English. But anyway, that's on the top.
There-
That little. So it's a little camera that's
With a
$50.
Right, so the little heat.
And then it's got the
It's
kind of a
little Linux
canned.
computer.
It's got a canned program that you can use to make it a follower.
You know, it has its own processor built in.
The camera is a quad-core Linux machine.
Okay. And it does
Quad-
has the
yes.
software in it to do image recognition.
It's got OpenCV running on it. It's a really stripped down version of Linux.
Right.
But it's a quad-core machine talking serial out to the Arduino, basically giving it coordinates to
The center.
to that.
The SPI or
No, it's serial.
Because it can tell the
Serial.
UART.
serial?
UART.
Serial. RS-232.
RS-232.
No, it's not
Okay.
RS-232. It's TTL UART.
Oh, it's just TTL, yeah, that's
We'll go with RS-232.
And how exact does that diagram have to be? If it's a
Um,
little off, will that
Do I?
not follow that?
Do I?
Can it differentiate between patterns that are close to that but not exact?
No, actually, I don't have it set up on this
Oh, okay.
computer, but it would
Would
tell
it
you,
follow?
if you put both of these right there
Mhm.
next to each other, the software will tell you that this is number 1 and this is number 2. And the only
There's
reason
a code.
the only reason I know that is because I wrote number 1
Yeah.
and number 2.
But it's a 4x4 matrix.
It's a 4x4 matrix, and
And then
it doesn't matter if it's in this orientation or this one, or it also doesn't matter if it sees it at an angle. It actually can
Okay.
compute the angle
It'll
that it's
tell
seeing
you
it
the
at.
orientation of the marker.
There's a
No,
way to
there
get
is
it to tell the distance.
4x4 means 65,000 combinations, but you only have 49 combinations.
60.
49 combinations.
There's 49 different markers in this
Yeah.
set.
Because they use redundancy, checking, and also identify the orientation.
Yeah, there's
It means that you can use the same code
Use,
for
okay.
a mark.
There's 49 different codes or 49 different markers in this set, and you tell the camera which set you want to look at because you can make your own custom sets up.
So why do you have the different sets? Do you put them in different places and say go here, go there, go here?
Well, that's another one of the demos. The first demo, the one that I got working, is the follow demo.
Right.
Last week I could try to find the video again, but there's a one where it goes to each individual marker in the set, and it actually is looking. I don't know if it's doing it by the number or if it's doing it by distance, because it's going to the first marker and then it goes to the second and then it finally ends up at the last marker. But you can use these for other things, like if you put them on the walls,
Right.
you could tell it can orient itself inside the room.
Right. And if you were sort of on some type of, I don't know, assembly line or something like that, say pick up, go to this place, go to this location, go to this location, go to this like, and it picks up something at that location.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just impressive. I mean,
Well,
that's kind of.
yeah, a lot of times they put them on different surfaces of a robot.
Yeah.
So if you had 8 of these on different surfaces, then you could tell what the robot was doing, at each arm of the robot could be
You can
perceived.
you put them on a cube, and you could tell the orientation of the cube by looking at the 3 different surfaces that it sees,
right.
or the 4 different surfaces that it can see. Because a cube would have 6 surfaces.
It's pretty impressive.
But
So how much does this thing cost you?
that camera was actually only $50.
Get it used?
Negative. That was the brand new price.
Oh, you got the early bird Kickstarter?
Yes, but that's the brand new price even on their website.
Oh,
No,
really?
it's out. It's out now. It's
I
Well,
bought
yeah,
one and
I
they sent
found
it
it
to
to
the
Kickstarter. It was
from
$100, I
California.
think,
Oh,
Okay, now what did you do with yours?
originally.
Okay,
No, I
so
don't.
okay, so the camera's sold separately,
Yeah.
and all the other stuff is.
Okay, so the whole entire robot.
There is a
Oh, okay.
SD card where you download all the system
Oh,
and put inside, and there is plenty of applications there.
Oh.
Maybe
Oh,
invite
okay.
them or something. And
The
you can
SD
choose
card-
which one wrong.
So that may be where the Kickstarter, because I got the SD card for free, but any SD card,
Right.
it's only like a 4 gig SD card. I mean, it's nothing. Yeah, it's in there. Don't try to look for it. The biggest, I mean the biggest problem with that particular camera, it takes a ton of power to run it.
Yeah.
There's actually 2. It's connected to the power on the Arduino board, and it's connected to the power of the battery. It takes a ton of power to run that stupid thing, and it's in such a small thing that it gets hot.
He's got a
That's the fan.
PTZ module that he bought separate.
Yeah. Well, everything, just the
It's got
camera
2
itself was
servos.
$50. Now they say on their website to build the equivalent of what they're doing, which is slightly different but not too different, was $99. So just under $100 for the entire robot. Most of that was in the camera. This thing probably cost me $35. No, it had to 30. It probably cost about $80 for the whole thing, because I was given some of that stuff and I had some of that stuff, and of course I buy all that stuff from China. So.
It's got an I/O adapter board that plugs into the Arduino board, just so you can take things up to it easily, right?
I used a servo board, yeah,
Servo board, okay.
just to make it easier to.
Yeah, so you plug stuff directly into it.
Hmm.
But cheap. I'm sure he'll give you a parts list.
Oh yeah, that's just impressive. I mean, that's just downright impressive. My mind always go to like industrial applications and stuff. And
But
it's
they have
like,
a lot of applications. They have road follower.
Yeah.
They
Line
can
follower.
identify all the objects in the border of the road and maintain.
So basically,
a driving
once
bike. They have a lot of application free.
I have to look at it.
It's
Once
an
this-
open source.
Yeah.
thing, you know?
and once this robot's built, like
Right.
I'm not going to take this apart because now it works.
Right.
I can modify the software on the Arduino, modify the init script for the camera so that it initializes a different, like the line follower.
Right.
Now I could put a line out and it would, without changing pretty much, without changing any of the hardware, I'm just changing software at that point.
Cool.
Um,
Nice.
My
Face recognition. They have
It's got face rec.
face-
It's got all
well,
kinds of stuff.
the people of Expressive, they released the face recognition software for the SP32. You know? The SP32 the recognition software.
Put the effort into it.
Yeah.
That's just.
Did you see where the M5 stack somebody ported the camera module
I
to
worked at
Arduino,
Cisco
so now we
Telecom
could use
back in
the Arduino IDE
the
to
80s,
program the M5
and
stack
they
camera?
came up when that line follower
No, but it's.
equipment they used to use.
Yeah.
I was planning to do it
expensive.
anyway because it's the same.
Yeah.
You only need to reassign some
I mean,
pins.
it
Yeah.
blows me away. It's just
This is all
Yeah.
the stuff that's currently available on the camera. It's all based off of OpenCV. Most of it's based off of OpenCV. It's got the TensorFlow, which is object tells you what the object is. When I was playing with that, it did not work real well. I mean, I held up like a pencil and it told me it was a lighter or something, but that can only get better.
Have you looked at this?
There is an application that you can
I have
see
not
all
looked at that
the
one.
scripts
That could be
and
pretty
change
cool.
anything, any line, and add new ones. And
I had played
totally open.
around
It's
with
incredible.
this one, if they actually had one that combined this and this one together, so you could do.
Yeah.
Which I played around with.
Why would
another
you
one.
want to track
I-
pupils and gaze?
I tried to get it to count the dice pips, but I never got that to work.
And that with the eyeball. Tracking your pupils and gaze.
Oh.
Well, that's
They do.
Yeah, that's
TV.
like if
Yeah.
you, if,
See
I
where
mean,
you're
someday, instead of a mouse, you would track my
Okay.
eyeball.
Yeah.
I
That-
guess.
that
Is
camera
right?
could sit
Stephen
up
Hawking
there.
having that beam moving that.
Well, sometimes
Yeah.
they do that in the grocery stores too. Procter & Gamble is experiment. Where do your eyes go?
Yeah.
Where do your eyes actually go?
played around a little with that one, but I didn't exactly understand what that one was trying
No, it's like
to accomplish.
it's an outlier. They threw that at that day that I threw out.
I wasn't.
We had a wall.
I wasn't real sure what I was trying to accomplish with that
Stop
one.
and she'd be looking at. You think she's looking over
Did
there?
you play
she's
with
looking
that?
Right at you.
Uh-huh. Color.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting it to do the blob thing, but I wasn't real sure what I was trying. What it was trying.
Maybe
to,
they have both applications running together, simultaneously.
I don't know.
Because the block color is very small in processing demand. Compared with
Yeah.
I heard that's what.
I played around a little bit with the fine faces, and that worked.
On your tablets, they turn the camera.
That's
look
easy.
at your eyes to see what you're tracking.
I had some of my
But
projects.
basically, all of that is on the SD card, and you load up this software suite on your computer, plug that thing in, and say, run this software, and then you can tell it to actually boot that up every single time to run it.
Why'd you turn around? I want to get your best song.
Some of my projects paid off this week. My mailbox project, when somebody opened the mailbox, it rings me inside, went off at 6:41 this morning, and I said, "That's not right." And I
That's
wandered
not
downstairs, and then I went to my software where I track all the trucks going in front of my camera thing that I brought in, and I found the guy that stopped at our mailbox and took mail out of our mailbox today with the flag up.
Nice.
And Gail took it to the police this morning.
Nice, very nice. Technology.
What kind of ghetto neighborhood do you live in?
Yeah, well, it's they stole the Amazon shipment. I think it was Amazon.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
And multiple times on the back. I'm telling Leroy, man, they good time to get out of Monroe, Leroy.
I'm not in Monroe.
Yeah, I know. Good time
Monroe,
to get
Kansas.
out.
My dad lives in Monroe. It's a quiet little.
Do you have the picture of Leroy?
Yeah, and you
doing
wouldn't
that?
usually notice
Yeah,
if
I
your
got a
mail
picture of it.
disappeared.
It's
Yeah,
on.
I think they're looking for like gift
yeah.
cards.
It's on the
and-
cloud.
Yeah,
It's
it's
in
happening
my
everywhere.
folder.
This is a run.
Yeah. But it was
I got a movie.
pickup truck with
It's
the word
early in the morning, so it's
box
kind
on
of
it.
dark. It's not a terribly good picture, but the police are
Like,
happy
but
with
it's
it.
dark on the bottom, so it's a little more identifiable than
I
just
love it
Yeah, like a Ford
because
Taurus or
their
something.
shaky videos just like my shaky
You
video.
didn't get any license plate.
No, it didn't get bad. It was dark anyway, but it's close enough that you can
Oh, okay, this is doing the follow.
also track the car going by at the same time they did before, so it might be something that works in that area.
Yeah.
See my robot's almost the same.
He's got those $3 wheels that we were so familiar with, the yellow wheels.
He's using a $12 robot truck chassis, just like. I do like the idea that they strap the camera to the back.
It's funny to have a track of cat or something like that.
The chipmunk chasing him around. Oh my God, I got a shit. I usually wait. Sometimes he follows me and I start following him. He just stops. He can't take it.
Oh, to go out in daylight, just do that. Oh man, that's quite a feat.
Here's what I actually have found about this. It actually needs quite a bit of light. My room, my house is pretty dark.
Another thing, you can record video inside the inside the SD card. You can record video. That's what they did.
Doing right there. See, that would be crazy for English. The carts floating around, following you. You know? I know, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
Terminator 3. 4.
All you need to do is have everybody have one of these 49 different markets to carry around. You could have 49 bucks on it.
the big is the James made with the symbol on the back of it. No problem, I'll do no problem, son. Gee, no problem.
I found some problems when it was kind of dark.
Oh, nice. There you go. That's what I'm, yeah, exactly.
So he's actually using the same marker that he was carrying around. He just strapped it to the back of the line of the
So you
RC
just stick
car.
that to your dog and
Yeah.
You can program it so that it will only follow one marker too. The generic software that they've got on there will follow any of the 49 markers that's in that cell.
Now, is all those markers a standard code or something? Or there's some standard, like, you know, like barcode or something like that, or you just come up with those things and maybe...
It's an Auricle.
Oh, it's
marker,
okay.
and it's a standard. They use it for all kinds of stuff, augmented reality.
Oh, really?
And there's a different. I sent Vicente a link to something called an April code, which looks very, very similar but works a little bit differently apparently.
There are other markers, but you can have a lot more than just 49.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is the markers They're all, I mean, all of those are doing the same thing. You're basically going to follow the marker, right?
Well, this program that they've got going on is follow the marker. So, I mean, like I said, you could use it for.
And you just have to reprogram.
You just have to reprogram.
Right, okay,
It does, yeah. So here they got it bouncing off of, which I think is a poor implementation because it doesn't really get to the close to the marker that it.
Yeah.
But you can see where it's,
yeah.
where it's kind of doing, and it gets to the last marker and kind of stops.
Yeah, I like that.
That's him.
I like that because I mean, if you wanted, I was just thinking, if you wanted to sort of track through an office or something like that, you just had the markers in it, just a mail delivery. If you deliver some mail, through the office, get rid of that person.
I'm not. You might know. The April tags look like it could detect them more at from a flat surface at an angle, more than these markers. And the April tags look like they would be more suited to doing something like what you're talking about down a hallway or something, because you could have them along a flat surface and just have it drive.
Right.
Because you saw that was pretty much looking at them all straight on. You know, maybe off to the side a little bit, but all pretty much straight on. And it looked like when I was watching the video, some of the April tags, they had them. The camera could see and tell what these tags were from various angles, and it looked like it didn't need to see the whole entire thing to know what it was. It just needed to see some part of it to tell what it was.
Cool.
There's some markers that'll work that way. Most of them want to see the whole thing.
But when I was looking at the April tags and these, I was like, that's a 4x4 marker, that's a 4x4 marker. What the heck is the difference? And I really couldn't tell what the difference was between them. But they look like they work a little different, is what they look like.
That's pretty cool. Endless applications.
Don't you love my that only took me over 2 years to figure out, hey, if I turn a base upside down,
Yeah, that's you finally needed it enough, and then your mind presented it to you.
Well, it wasn't until last week that I figured out how I think he said turn the base around and not the top. I was trying to figure out how the tilt worked. My brain just did not. My brain just did not grasp how to make it work. This camera, these are the April tags.
Wow. And then at the various angles and various shades and light. If I dropped 4 dropped out there for a second, but 13 dropped out.
Yeah,
Okay,
the April tag, and I think the Aruku tags, or however it's pronounced, is the same way. You have to see the whole square. There's not enough data in the tag to be able to
This probably is
figure it out.
There's another video I saw where the camera was looking this direction and was picking out what the tags were over here. So that's probably not a great video. But because this is running OpenCV, you probably can install whatever you need to actually make that work.
Yeah.
I think the difference is only the algorithm to detect the number.
I think the difference is the algorithm.
The correction of the... Because all of them use the corners and the size and
Maybe
orientation.
Might have been this one.
Here's a comparison between 3 different tags. Yeah, see, these have more bits.
They're yes,
What'd you say?
but they're flat too.
No, I lived in New Lebanon.
And they're still
so I used to
being
live
protected.
past
So-
the heat and stuff,
Yeah.
so I don't think that.
To a point.
To a point.
In Union City.
You might
part
be
of the
right
Union
when,
cities in
if you
Indiana,
can't
parts
see
in Ohio.
all of it, it
Two
drops
separate
down.
cities, but it's kind of one.
There was one of them I saw where it looked like
That's
it was still
just
protected
north
inside of the main island.
fairly decent sized city just north of Wayne County. That's why I figured it was maybe Union City.
I think it is, yeah, but
Before the daylight savings change, that wreaked havoc in that town.
Sure, right.
I don't know.
But what's the school that's built right on the border? Do you know?
That's College Corner.
Is it, okay, yeah.
Yeah, half of it's in Ohio and half of it's in
When
Indiana.
I was
East
reading
west,
about
the
the
basketball
April
court.
tags, it said Boston Diana.
Those are the
Diana
only
was using
teachers in
April tags,
Indiana
not
that are part of Ohio retirement system.
tags.
Really?
That was part of the deal.
I think that was what.
I don't know how they worked that out.
I think that's what
Interesting.
one of the biggest difference was some
Look
of
at that
the
I was the
comparison.
school
on-
treasurer for 13 years.
The
so
comparison between.
I learned all that
Okay.
stuff being in
Apple.
business.
Were you at College Corner?
No, I was at New Lebanon, Laughlin, and Three Rivers Local
Oh, okay.
in the edge of Hamilton County, right near Indiana,
Okay.
right near Lawrenceburg, actually.
Mm-hmm.
E-Town, on the edge of Ohio, along 50.
It must be different. I mean, they're using the same tag, just different.
algorithms to
Different.
detect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that treasurer has to deal with two state laws, all these different counties. It's a big.
Following an April tag.
Harrison was close to where, and then you go to West Harrison, that's in Indiana.
Yeah, right.
And that's something else.
Oh, it backs up.
Yeah,
So
there's,
that looks like a 6x6.
there's a lot more
instead of a
data in
4.
that tag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's I don't know. Maybe the Uruku tags are the poor man's April tag.
I think it's the same thing.
Detection,
Different,
yeah.
different codification.
Here's April tag tracking with an STM. Oh, well, that's GDN F7.
How many numbers has the April tag with 4x4?
I'm not sure.
Because I think Aruco just designed a mark that is immune to a lot of distortion and noise, but reducing the number of codifications
Of tags.
possible.
Yeah.
But it's the same.
But Aruco also supports 5x5.
No, any
Anything,
six,
yeah.
6x6, 7x7.
Yeah.
But if you increase the number, you need more resolution or more size in your mark to see at distance. It's better to use as low as possible to have a good identification, easy identification.
Why did they call them April tags?
Why not?
Yeah. There's got to be a
Sounds
story.
like my question.
There's got to be a story behind it.
It's the month when they did it.
Yeah.
The guy's mother was April.
Yeah.
Aruco means augmented reality, University of Cordoba, Spain.
Also, it's
They
an acronym.
invented the code
It's
inside
an acronym.
inside the frame.
Not the April with the Uku. Yeah, that's
Uku.
Yeah.
And April maybe another
Acronym,
code.
maybe, yeah.
this is the original project page for
The follower.
the follower, and it also has
the
the
Arduino code, right?
yeah Arduino code
They use a couple of PID routines
to
control
for,
the
for
servos.
the servo. Yeah.
to smooth the movement.
April tag is University of Michigan.
Yeah, that's who came up with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the code that, or that's the init script that you run on the camera, and it's easy to do with their software to just tell it to do it.
It comes from the April Robotics Laboratory, so I guess that's where the April comes from.
I'm doing the same. You put this in the .ini.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
And it works. Mine.
There's a guy, go to
There,
Aquafit.
in their
heavy
little
industrial
piece of software,
Yes, in
We're
there.
talking about AR.
there's a save to
artificial
the device and
intelligence.
Yeah,
save.
button.
Said it's
Yeah.
gonna be here
But
for
I
5
use it
years.
when I disconnect and connect. I already see my file
China's gonna
saved.
be one of the
Okay.
But don't use it for a start. I don't know why.
I don't
And he
I
said
don't know
that's gonna take
because it
a
seems
while.
to work for
It's gonna
me.
transform some jobs and get rid of
Ah,
some jobs.
autonomy, perception, robotics,
I need to check
interfaces,
this.
and learning.
Haha.
So April actually means something.
Yes.
What are they?
What it means? Excuse me?
Autonomy, perception, robotics, interfaces, and learning.
Okay.
April, right?
It means
Very, very
Don't wanna say that word.
creative.
Let's say that much again, do you?
High creativity.
um, I had to change the pin numbers for my motors. I could have just moved my wires around, but
That's software.
underneath this, it's hard to get my fingers in there, so I just did it in software. Because when I first did it, it was basically running away from, and when I would bring it closer to it, like it should run away, then it was coming towards it, and I said, okay, that's backwards. So I just fixed that. But the biggest problem, right in here, you define your how your pan and tilt work. When mine's facing forward, it's actually more like at about 80 instead of 90. You know, it should be 90 degrees, but it's actually closer to like 80. And I did a lot of playing around with the tilt part of it to finally get it to actually go. But mine was also going, when I would bring the tag up, the tilt was actually going down. So it was doing exactly opposite of what it should. And eventually I figured out that was inside the PID loop. And if I put minus in front of the numbers, everything worked fine. So I was like, why is it doing this? Why is it doing this? And then I put negative in front of the numbers, and I went, oh, I'm impressed. It actually works. The pan and tilt was probably my biggest issue, because if you look at their pictures of their pan and tilt, well, come on, you can't really tell how it's actually made. And I struggled with the tilt part of it until last
schematics or
week.
drawings or nothing.
They're using different batteries too.
Batteries don't matter.
Don't matter.
Batteries don't matter.
Those like a last one, they got that thing straight. Like door seal, double A door seal.
But I struggled a lot because I am not a mechanical kind of person. I'm an electrical kind of person, and I just sit there and did that and went, how in the heck are they doing that? But you're right. I mean, they're technically using different batteries in a different battery pack. They're even using 2 wheels instead of 4 wheels. So
Oh yeah, they are.
I mean, we're not 100% copying what they're doing.
So you're improvising.
Yeah, using a different color camera also.
Yes.
Case.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See,
They
see,
use
their
white.
camera's white.
Yeah.
All right,
If
guys.
you really want to get picky about it. But really, they're doing the same thing that I'm doing, though. I've got
Additional.
two batteries for the motor driver
Hours in the line.
and a
Okay.
battery for both the Arduino and the camera going through the USB, and there's a splitter in there for USB power to both of them.
Yeah.
So really,
Very much the same.
batteries don't matter. They are probably, I don't know, what is that, they're running 6 volts and I'm running,
You are using
Seven point-
plexiglass. They also
yeah,
different color.
different color.
It's okay.
Yeah, they're using what, 6 volts for their motors, and I'm using 7.5, 7.2, something like that.
7.4
7.4 on a good day,
if they're fully charged.
if they're fully charged. So if they're fully charged, that's 8.4. It's 4.2 when they're fully charged.
Oh, that's true.
They're also, I don't see they say they're using a Leonardo, and I don't see it on there, but they're obviously using some microcontroller somewhere. So that is just a horrible picture of what they've done. But it's a good thing they tell you what to connect and the color of the wires to connect. So otherwise nobody would ever get that project done. But I want to do, I have always wanted to play with this. It was Mark that actually pushed me into doing it. But now I want to do, I don't want to do a follow straight line kind of deal. What I want to do is actually have 3 different or 4 different tags sitting in different spots and tell it to go to
From one to another.
tag 0 and let it find tag 0 and go to it, and then turn and go to tag 1 and then figure out where tag 2 is, all on its own without
Right, exactly.
Intervention.
without me doing anything. So we could randomly place them anywhere on the table, and it would just go there and then turn and find the other tags as long as it could see them. I think that probably will take another 2 or 3 weeks for me to actually work that out, but that's what I want to do. So that's why I'm not going to take that apart. But that's it. That's
Why
what
do you have to take it apart?
I don't
Oh, good deal.
Very good.
anymore. I've got so many robots sitting around. I used to actually take them apart when a project would end and I would build another project. Now I've got so many of them, I don't need to take it apart. Do you guys? My code is, yeah, if anybody really cares, it's in the meeting announcement. It's on GitHub. But it's pretty much, other than the minor changes that I made to it, it's pretty much the same code that you'll find on the website. Because I imagine that whatever changes I made, you'd probably have to make too, because every one of the servers is going to be a little bit different. What else was I going to do?
Well, you might want to consider the motion flow, what they called motion flow. And in that one, the camera would point down.
Okay.
And it would see the grain of this moving past, and it would be able to know the velocity and position of it based on.
Oh, like how a mouse works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on there they called it compute motion flow, but other articles that you can get on Jervois are optical flow. So
yeah.
whether they call them compute motion flow or optical flow, same idea. And then you're going to be like a mouse, and you're going to know your position relative to where you were when you started. You can know your velocity and position in both X and Y directions. Because that's why it showed the diagram with 8 arrows coming out of it. Like any direction you move, you can calculate.
It works like a mouse, like a optical mouse.
Right.
I actually have an optical mouse sensor that I bought for a couple of bucks for the Arduino. I've never played with it.
There it is.
Yeah. At 100 hertz. Okay.
But they had 4 or 5 somewhere on their website. There it is. These different people have written. It's got these people's names there. They've written different algorithms.
Okay.
And then it can know how it's moved.
We're getting to the point where the cameras are getting cheap. The software, the hardware is getting cheap.
The software is open.
The software is open, but we're getting to that point where we don't need a whole lot of other sensors now. We don't need the ultrasonic.
Yeah, you can use a camera.
We can use the camera.
Looking down, another looking forward.
Yeah.
So what I've read on the mouse is there's some chips and that have a 30 by 30 matrix, where this has a lot more. I'm not sure if they use it in their algorithms. They probably don't need, because it's just relative motion. But some that I looked for that are used in a mouse are 30 by 30. There may be others,
Of course, they're doing it at over 1,000 frames a second.
Yeah, I didn't
It's
mean
like 1,200.
No, I just meant, and that's a standard chip also.
Okay.
When I was, not that I knew anything, but when I was probably in 1986, we had a project to make a plastic mouse for mouse systems. So we went out to San Jose, and that's when mouse systems still used the plate, kind of a grid.
Yeah.
And we went out there and met. He just ducked his head in and said hello, but he was the founder of Mouse Systems in their little building out there in San Jose. It's kind of across from the amusement park there. But long time ago. So what was that, 32 years ago, I guess.
I've seen a couple of those optical flow sensors that are looking at the ceiling instead of the table.
Gotcha. Yeah.
A couple of the robot vacuum cleaners look at the ceiling instead of the.
Well, you can picture that like on a ship and looking up at the sky and the stars. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, but there was some. I saw it on eBay. It was an optical flow sensor for the Arduino, and it was $3 or $4.
I did one with a Arduino Nano.
Yeah.
And 9 LDR cells inside a box with a slot. And
I remember that. I bought it. I bought it just because it was cheap, and then I never did anything. I've got a bunch of stuff like that at home. just because it's an impulse buy. Oh, look, it's cheap. Buy it. Buy it.
You got a nice inventory there, just in case.
Every now and then it comes in handy because somebody will come up with a project that I want to do. I just never have done it.
Cool
and you
stuff.
already have it on the inventory on hand.
Yeah, I've already got most of it sitting around. I did actually order that cable special. I like it though. I like that cable.
You mean what, this one?
The USB splitter, yeah.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Splitter.
It's actually they actually sell that cable, but they I found it from China for like $2 for. I think it was $2 for like 2 of them. It's like $1 a piece. It showed up this week, and I said, "Cool, I'll use it."
In case I go up there when the days are long.
Did you ever get that LiDAR,
hours a day, like
the 100 meter?
4 hours in the
Okay, I have. Yes.
Okay, it came.
The 100-meter LiDAR showed up. I have not played with it.
combination of where we're at.
Haven't really even. I checked it to make sure it wasn't broken. That was it.
Yeah.
Right. I found my Nito LiDAR. I got a controller for it. Haven't really played with it, but I made sure it worked. And I bought another Nito robot at an auction for a whopping $4 just to pull the laser out of it.
Okay.
So I have, yes, that's all.
You're building up yeah.
For $4 for a $100 laser, yeah, I'm going to bid on that. But yes, I need to get to all that.
No, I was just wondering if that one arrived, because I know it was long distance.
Yeah.
100 meters, wasn't it? Am I remembering that right?
That one said that it was 100 meters. Well, I think the only way we're ever going to verify that is either shoot it out here or outside.
Yeah, take it to a football field.
But that one got here. That one's supposed to be relatively simple to use. The Nito LiDAR, the Nito LiDAR is, with the controller, it's a little bit easier, but it gives some kind of weird numbers out of it. So
They're gone. They're actually going to be gone. You can't get that camera until the 25th. They won't ship until after Christmas. They're out of the office from December 8th to 24th.
I'm sorry.
No, I was talking about the camera. I was looking at I went on their website to see how you can get that camera, and they're going to be they're shut down between December